Hey, welcome back to My Mythical Meta, your gaming podcast that's actually your friendship podcast.
Yay.
My name's Travis. The whole crew is here today. I've got my brother Benjamin.
Hello.
And then my two great friends, all the way back since high school, Derek and Randy.
How's it going?
You couldn't see my finger gun. Let me.
Today's episode is the 2024 Wrapped. We are going back in time to the past year. We're just going to talk about a few of our favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. So stay tuned. Get to know My Mythical Meta with the stuff that we loved from 2024. We are going to be talking about board games and card games. We're going to be talking about the video games we played, the movies we saw, the shows we watched, the books Benjamin read. And then we're also going to finish it off for our Magic players, the legendary creatures that we think really popped off the page in terms of design, fun stuff that we want to build and try out. Some of us have already built some of us are just in the planning stages in our minds and stuff like that. So we're going to talk top legendary creatures too. So listeners, please like and subscribe, and then comment with your own favorite stuff from 2024. When we list stuff that you also liked, let us know so that we can bond and connect. Like, that's what all of these things are all about, is getting a picture of who you are, and through this you get to see a picture of who we are and the kind of things we like. So hopefully you get to know us a little better through today's episode. Don't forget that you can always send us direct messages through mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. And we have got a Patreon, patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. Today's episode goes out to David.
Yay, David.
Woo, David. David, thank you so much for appearing on the podcast. We had such an awesome time chatting with you about Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys, y'all should have seen David just being a warrior in the comments for Yu-Gi-Oh! After all the Magic players come in saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Sucks. But we really enjoyed it.
And they're right. Most of them were me.
Derek has made 20 accounts just to bully David in the comments.
I feel that strongly about how much I don't like it.
But it really was a fun episode. I certainly learned a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! I have gotten back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I log in every day in order to get my gems and stuff. And
see it.
something kind of sad was that I had lost some of the data from one of my accounts, and then I tried like that data retrieval thing, and it gave me the data from my Switch account, not my old iPad account. So I don't have the data from the second time I started playing when I knew more of what I was doing. I have the data from the first time I started playing, where all of my decks are terrible. And I don't have any gems for buying any new cards or building any new cards. So anyway, but I am back into it. David, we so very much appreciate you hanging out with us for those episodes. All right, guys, let's get into our favorite stuff from 2024. Here at My Mythical Meta, we are a gaming podcast, and so we are going to start off with the games we played. We played board games, card games, video games. Like, that is just a way that we bond, not only with each other, but with other friends, family. Benjamin goes, Other
friends?
Friends? You guys have more friends? Guys, what were the best card games that you played?
Well, I only played 2, so there's Magic the Gathering.
I still think
Obviously.
Magic was probably my top card game of the year.
Yeah.
Don't forget, guys, that the beginning of this year, we were still in the Ascension Classic.
Right.
I thought we started it this year. It was already going?
Yeah, it was already going.
It was already going. We had our first game on like January 4th or something. And so last year's New Year's resolutions episode, we had already started the Ascension Classic.
Yeah, and Derek was talking about how he was going to own us. And he did, but barely.
By
1 point.
1 point.
So Magic the Gathering was certainly still a great game, still our top game, I think. The last time we played, we did our Secret Santa exchanges. Listeners, we've still got more content to make about that game because we had another deck building challenge that happened the last time we played.
Yeah.
So Magic the Gathering is still at the forefront of the things we do. I discovered a new game at Millennium Con that Benjamin and I worked called Senjutsu Battle for Japan.
Yeah.
And it is a hybrid miniature and card game. Each card controls what your miniature does, but it's like a samurai dueling game where the two players reveal their cards simultaneously. And then the card that has the higher initiative gets to resolve first. So that person gets to move their miniature on the board first. And even if you're going second and it completely puts you out of position, you still played that card. And so you have to commit to the card you played. So it's really fun, a great mind game. The first time Benjamin and I played, I beat him 5-0.
Yeah.
It felt so cool. I played the master and he played the Ronin. And my man, guys, I just saw the code in that first game. My character just kept weaving around him, striking diagonally, and just danced around the field. But the second game we played, Benjamin beat me.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't it like 5-1 or 5-2?
Well, yeah, but I filled your hand with stun
He
cards.
filled my hand with stun cards. That's right.
I could have beat you the other way, but I thought that was cooler.
Yeah, exactly. And then the third game we played, which was just over Christmas, Benjamin and I had gotten each other to 4 wounds each.
Yeah.
And our models were literally face to face.
So we're playing.
So it was whoever played the higher initiative card got to win that duel, basically. And Benjamin got me.
Well, we were face to face, 4 wounds each, so your 5th wound dies. And the first time we both played defense cards, and then we were like trying to get the other person to play their attack cards into a bad position.
Yeah, to do a parry into a counter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. That's also the game that I've been painting a lot for.
Mm-hmm.
I've been painting the miniatures for that. Just last weekend, I painted Yasuke, who is an actual legend from Japan's history. So that game was a lot of fun. Benjamin, we also played another game at Millennium Con. Tell us about Wonders of the First.
Yeah, so it's a Kickstarter game that I backed last year. They're getting ready to do their pre-release stuff, but in the meantime, I had bought some test decks from them, and they shipped those out mid to late last year, and so I've had a few decks sleeved up, so I busted it out at Millennium Con, and it's cool. So it's a game, it borrows some of the tropes from Magic, but instead of just having one battlefield, you have 7.
There are 7 battlefields,
and
y'all. It was...
And that sounds like, oh, that's a lot to keep track of, but basically a new one opens every turn. So the first turn you just have one, and then a new one opens up, and the game...
each battlefield is just tracked in columns.
Yeah, so it's
it was pretty easy to keep track.
Yeah, and then the game ends after the last battlefield opens, so you get one turn on that battlefield, and you're fighting for control of each battlefield. Each battlefield has a stone, so when you attack in that battlefield, if you have more power, you take the stone, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most stones wins. So it's quick. It has a definite beginning and a definite ending. There are still strategies about controlling or being aggressive. I'm sure it's not solved yet because it's brand new. They're really focused on collectability, and so I'm excited to get in on the ground floor, and I encourage people to check it out. Like I said, they're getting ready to do some pre-releases in the near future. Unfortunately, up in South Carolina, but hopefully we'll get more of it in more places, and it's launching.
It was a lot of fun, Benjamin. We played 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, I think we played 3 games,
and I think Benjamin beat me 4-3 every game.
Yeah,
classic Big Brother.
Exactly, classic Big Brother stuff. I was close every game.
Yeah,
it's just Benjamin was always able to get that last stone out from under me. So it was a lot of fun. It felt close every round, which I think feels good to know that it felt close, that I could have had a chance. Eric, Randy, did y'all do any other card games besides Magic or anything else?
So over, I guess, the break or whatever in December, my sister-in-law got proposed to. So I've been trying to
the game of love,
build bridges or whatever, common ground with my future brother-in-law so we could be friends. And he's into the Pokemon trading card game. So
awesome.
On Christmas, they had like one of those starter battle kits for like kids to like teach them the game.
Yep.
So I sit down and played with him and my niece. I played against my niece while he coached her, and it's kind of fun if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I downloaded them. Huh?
Benjamin and I played it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I kind of get the rules now. I downloaded it on my phone to just play whenever. You get like some free decks. I've been playing a Charizard EX and
cool.
Pidgeot EX games.
Mm-hmm.
The Pidgeot ability just lets you tutor any card every single turn.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game we're doing now. It's insane.
Yeah. Pokemon is wild.
Yeah. So it's basically, if you get your stuff and get going, it's hard to stop the engine. But it's been a lot of fun. He's going to give me another thing that Magic or Pokemon does better than Magic is when you buy Pokemon cards, you also get like a little card to redeem those packs online. So he's going to give me a bunch of his old ones.
That's cool.
That he doesn't
Very
need.
cool.
And I don't know, it's pretty fun. Just playing for fun now.
Randy, how about you?
Card games?
Or board games.
I'm going to overrule the thing you said beforehand, and I'm going to say that my favorite new card game was actually in Japan. The Dragon Ball Super. It's a card game.
Yeah.
Because you need the cards to get the characters in the video game, the arcade game.
Yeah.
But I mean, look how cool.
Can I mention, have y'all noticed that everyone is coming out with a TCG?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like this year?
Gundam.
Yeah, Gundam.
Digimon's back. They had like a One Piece one. Of course, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!
One Piece has been out for a while, but it definitely got more popular this year.
Yeah, I feel like I hear way more about it. There's Lorcana that came out. So I feel like there's a couple more that also.
I think Lorcana's 2 years old now, too.
League of Legends is. I think they're coming out with one.
Really?
Yeah, I just
They
wonder
had their
what's up with that.
online card game. Are they making it real? Wasn't it called Arcane? Their online card game?
Yeah, there was a virtual one.
Yeah.
I think I remember Justin played it for a little bit.
Well, TCGs are like the crypto coin of games. So
NFTs with abilities.
That's right. Your card is a little NFT.
Precisely.
I mean, that makes it, at least it's worth something. It's a game piece.
Yeah.
You can do something with it.
I'll say I'm glad NFTs died in 2024. When was the last time anyone heard about those? I feel like March, maybe.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to them in the first place, so I don't know when they were popular and when they weren't.
Yeah.
I've managed to keep NFTs out of my algorithm.
That's smart.
Jealous.
Yeah. Well, now after watching this video, it's going to be back because Derek.
Damn you, Derek.
Just cut all of this.
Let's talk board games.
Yeah. So I got a board game. Actually, I got lots of board games this year because I can't stop. But the best one I got was actually one created by a friend of mine, and I am credited in the rule book as a playtester, and that is Farms Race. And you can catch them in a lot of game stores. They're on Amazon. And it was a fun game. It's like a Catan Small World mashup.
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
you play as mutated farm animals that are trying to take over the world from humans, and you nuke each other.
Yeah, guys, it was a lot of fun. It was very cool.
So yeah,
a lot like Small World because you're mixing and matching the animals with whatever their mutation might be, and you get to draw random mutations from the deck and then pick the ones you like. So It was very cool. All right, video games. Top video games we played. Derek, start us off here. I know you're probably.
Let me get my hot take, controversial take out. I really enjoyed playing Dragon Age Veilguard. Fight me in the comments. I won't be there because I'm above that. By literally commenting that game sucked, I've proved I'm better than you. But yeah,
I'm only about 20 hours into Veilguard, but I am really enjoying it too.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like it was the game I kind of wanted at the time.
Yeah. And of course, I've been asking people, this came up in an earlier episode. Guys, I have 3 Dragon Age tattoos. I was
going to say, you should show it. If someone's like, you like Veilguard? You're not a real Dragon Age fan. Boy!
Yeah, so, it is one of my absolute favorite games. And I was asking people when Dragon Age Veilguard comes out. I was like, I liked Dragon Age 2, which was absolute dog shit. So if I like Dragon Age 2 and literally still replay it, would I also like Veilguard? If it meets that standard, then yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right with you there. I'm really enjoying Veilguard right now.
Yeah, the writing can be a little cringy, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Randy, how about you?
I did play a whole lot of games. So earlier this year, the only one that we really played a bunch of was Helldivers 2.
Yeah, we played that.
We did that pretty hard in the beginning.
About 2-3 months, something like that.
Up until Sony did that whole, you have to have a PlayStation Network account in order.
And they kept nerfing guns.
Yeah, I still see things every now and then on my feed for Helldivers 2, and I still respect the company that made it, just not Sony.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did a whole episode that kind of featured Helldivers near the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
So we were talking about online gaming communities, and y'all were like, all the communities suck except for Helldivers.
Yeah.
Dang. And then they killed it.
Peak
Yeah, and then they
Helldivers.
killed
That
it.
was a fun time.
Yeah. One game that I really enjoyed playing this year was Fire Emblem Awakening on Nintendo 3DS. I had finished playing Fire Emblem Engage on Switch for the second time, and I was like, I'm not done. I need more Fire Emblem. But I don't want to sink, 100 hours into Fire Emblem Three Houses again. I want to play a Fire Emblem game I've never played. And so all the reviews for Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS were like, this is the love letter to all past Fire Emblems, to the good things that all past Fire Emblems had done. And so I spent about 90 hours on it, but it was
Good
so much
investment.
fun. It was just really good. Great strategy, great characters. So in Fire Emblem, whenever characters fight next to each other, their support grows. And then as their support levels up, they have different conversations. And in this game, when they reach support level S, if you have a boy and a girl, they will get married. And then there's a future timeline where children from the future have come to the present in order to save their world.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so every time you have two people in your group get married, there's a new mission that comes up where their child has come in from the timeline.
Huh.
Neat. I like that.
Yeah.
It was very cool. There's unique conversations for every dad. Like the moms are always kind of preset. The mom is always going to have this kid, but the kid's hair color and all of the conversations they have with the dad are all unique. So I've been questioning starting another game, but I don't know if I have another 90 hours in me.
Right.
But that game was so much fun.
So I don't have a whole lot of time with now 4 children to
Congratulations on Silas,
thank you.
born Christmas Day.
That's right. Christmas Day.
It's a miracle.
But one interesting thing is, so my kids are just getting into the age where they like to play video games, and so when I have a chance, I like to play, but I don't like to buy a bunch of new stuff that I don't know if I'm going to have time to play, right? So I busted out some old video games, and lately I've been playing Super Mario World with my son Ezra. That's the one on the Super Nintendo.
For Super NES.
Yeah, way back. So we've been playing that. And actually, before that, even, we were playing original Mario. I bought one of those emulators where they have like 900 games on them. And we've been playing regular Mario before that. And that kind of got me itching to play Super Mario World and all the Super Nintendo games, because that's where we started before we, took off. They started coming out with every single thing. Back then, Super Nintendo was the best there was. And I've taught him Mario Kart and Super Mario World.
That's cool.
And
I can imagine Ezra losing to you in Mario Kart.
yeah, he's so bad.
And
But it's not, I mean, he just started. Everybody's bad when they just start, right? He's getting better. He's getting better at Super Mario World. We'll get to a new level, and of course I beat most of the levels, but we'll get to a level that's hard, and like we'll both take turns losing, and then he'll be the one to beat it. Be like, "Oh,
that's cool."
Yeah. So he's getting better, and this might be the start of something beautiful.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Derek, Randy, tell us about Marvel Rivals. I saw some new heroes came out.
Yeah.
Or are they out, or were they just like revealed?
They're just revealed. They're coming out Friday. Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
So I started playing Marvel Rivals with Randy. Randy, I guess, lost the passion 2 days into it.
Lost the heat.
Yeah. Travis, you played one day.
I know, and I want to do more. I like playing Captain America a lot.
Oh, he's fun. He
was a fun character for me. I feel like I kind of mind melded with him.
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot. I didn't play competitive games ever because I can't handle the competitiveness of it. But this one just feels, I don't know, less stakesy. It's got like a quick match I can just do and play whatever.
They are very quick. They're like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like you've lost a whole lot if you lose. Like when you're playing League on Summoner's Rift, it can be like
40 minutes.
Exactly. It can be like 30 to 40 minutes. And so when you lose, you're just like, all that time is gone.
Yeah.
With nothing to show for it. No rewards, no progression, no nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it a lot. And listener, if you want to play together, Maybe Travis will play with you.
Join our Patreon.
Join your Patreon.
Join our Patreon. Find us in the Discord.
Join my Patreon. I'll play with you.
What was it? Big Dog Derek?
I don't remember.
Patreon.com/Big Dog
Big
Derek.
Daddy Dog. I don't know. Big Dog Daddy.
And it was double the cost of our Patreon.
Yeah.
Let's talk movies and TV shows. Derek, start us off.
So I don't remember what the reason was I was watching. I think it was the 10th year anniversary of Interstellar.
Okay.
It was either it was this year or last year, but I watched it this year.
Like in theaters, or just watched it?
I just watched it at home.
At home.
Kristen was out of town for the night. I was like, well, I ain't doing nothing else.
Okay.
So I started watching it, and I loved it the first time I watched it. I was like, wow, what an experience.
Had you seen it before this?
I saw it one other time in theaters in 2014.
Oh, so that is a long time ago.
Yeah, and I was specifically saving myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till I can get the right kind of material so I can just veg out in an hour. And it's like, whoa. But I decided to
find some medicine.
Yeah, find some special medicine.
Yeah.
And do that. But I just went for it. And man, I love that movie. That's got to be like top 2 or 3 of my movies all time.
I think I need to rewatch it. I think
it's fantastic. I love it so much.
Because now I have a bigger TV and a better sound system and
yeah,
all sorts of life improvements from the first time I watched it.
It's great. And I like all the kind of like time shenanigans and space shenanigans and stuff. Kind of warps my mind, and I love to think about it.
I think I should watch it alone also because Kristen hates time travel.
It's not even that bad.
Well, it's not time travel, but like the time dilation stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And the fact that traveling at the speed of light literally makes time travel slower for you. Kristen would be like, but why?
Wait, what?
But why?
Because reality says so.
Yeah.
Because light bends at a different speed. And so,
yeah.
I can just imagine her asking what makes it better. I want to jump on the list that 2 other people already said. Dune 2.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
That was
good.
Stunning.
We saw it together. That was great.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin and I saw it together in theaters. What a beautiful piece of cinema. Just artistically, the whole segment in black and white on the Harkonnen homeworld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My God, so cool to watch.
Spoilers.
What?
I haven't seen any of them.
Well,
what? We'll go do it and read them too. Oh, that was another book I read. Okay.
That's right. Benjamin was like, oh yeah, I did read that book. Was that not?
No, I read Dune Messiah this year.
Dune Messiah, okay. I wanted to throw out Deadpool and Wolverine. I liked Deadpool and Wolverine for the same reason I liked Spider-Man No Way Home. Super nostalgic. Makes you think back on all the other Marvel movies that never got a second chance. Or
yeah,
I was kind of hoping Eric Bana would be in it as just like terrible Hulk.
Yeah, ugly Hulk.
We also saw Inside Out 2.
Very good.
Very good. A movie that Marin sat through. Any movie that Marin can sit through is at least 8.0 on IMDb. At least. And Benjamin, you have to tell us your impressions. The next movie on your list.
Oh, so I watched Your Name, which is an excellent movie. Kind of a little mind-bendy. It's very sweet, but it's really, really good. This is one of those animes that I would be interested in seeing a live remake.
Yeah.
Shoot me if you want to. It can't be worse than Death Note.
I agree.
It was really, really good. The one thing that I think I missed, and I just need to go back and watch it. I could not figure out why they couldn't remember each other's names. I couldn't figure out why.
I've seen it 3 times at this point, and I don't know why either.
It was like that was the okay. Go ahead, please.
I don't think there's like a real like cause as much as it is that like I think that's just part of the magic. That's part
Sure.
of the supernatural bit of it is, like as vivid as it is, it's almost like a dream. You can picture it so well in your head, but then like you can never like express that dream to someone else.
Yeah.
It's like you can't find the words for it. I think it's that exact thing. It's like there was something so important about that dream, and it's a feeling you have that you can't like just like grab onto. You can't. I don't know how to describe it exactly. The point of
that,
but yeah, it fades. And I don't know if you know, Ben, at the end, whenever he writes on her hand, he doesn't write his name. He writes, "I love you."
Yeah.
He says, "Not Penny's boat."
Yeah. I was thinking that same thing, Derek.
We need to put
Lost fans, get in the comments.
we need to put a spoiler alert here for all because you just gave away the ending
It's like 6 years old.
The ending of Lost or your name?
of your name.
Okay. I was about to get mad
Lost
about Lost.
spoilers.
I'll spoil all of Lost, and you still won't matter.
Yeah. No, it's not. I don't care about that, but
It's so good. It's so.
Your Name was awesome. I watched it a second time while we were on our trip in Japan. I was in my little closet hotel room, watching Your Name watching Your Name
ironing
for the
board
second
closet.
time. Yeah, my ironing board closet, because I wanted to see like all the parts of Japan that are real.
Yeah.
Just in case we found any of them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
beautiful
one
movie.
of the things we didn't have time to go do because, good lord, Tokyo's so big.
I know. We had 7 days in Tokyo, and it still felt like we got just a small glimpse of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top shows. I got in another Gundam show. I watched Gundam Seed Destiny, which is the second season for Gundam Seed, and Netflix had a Gundam Seed movie called Gundam Seed Freedom. That was really, really cool. Just the weapons and the fights might have been better than Gundam Unicorn, which I've always said for a long time that those were the most beautiful fights in Gundam. So yeah, I really liked watching Gundam Seed Freedom. And then, Derek, you and I, so we were on a mech kick because we were playing Martian Colony this year, but Derek and I both watched Big O. So
Fantastic.
cool.
I love that show.
And as I was finishing the show, Derek was like, "Okay, I need to unload my conspiracy theories on you."
Yeah,
and
tell me
he
what you
sends
think.
me like 4 pages of text messages about how he's like, "Is this a reincarnated Matrix scenario? Like, what are we, a recycled
Yeah,
Matrix
it's
thing?"
just all just like a Matrix thing or what?
It was really good, and obviously the fights in that show were really cool too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a perfect show to do a remake and or like a live action. Well, probably not a live action because
Don't think a live action, but a remake.
yeah,
Mhm.
a remake, but then you just kind of pick up where it left off with the new loop
Yeah,
and just
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
building the
yeah.
continuity that way.
That
I
would
would
be
love that.
cool. I just feel like they could really take the designs and the fights and just knock it out of the park
Yes.
right now
Mhm.
Yeah.
with new technologies and new animation techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Steve Bloom's still alive. There's still time.
There's still time. And not to say that anything from Big O looked bad. I've been saying for a long time that early 2000s, late 90s animation style.
Yeah, that
is one of my-
Batman
Yes,
kind of
it's one of my absolute favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Benjamin, you go.
Okay, so I watched Spy X Family. It's kind of weird to me because I felt like it was at Randy's recommendation, but then did you say you hadn't seen it? Or you have only
I love it.
Okay. So
I haven't seen it.
we talked about it in preparation for one of the conventions we were going to where several Spy X Family folks were going to be there. And of course, I
Yeah.
didn't watch it in time to care about them then. And then at some point I said, "Sarah, we're going to watch this show." And so we watched it and we loved it. It was hilarious. Even earlier today, Ezra for some reason said something was so elegant and we were like, "Elegante."
When I was suffering from the flu for that week, I didn't tell you guys, but I secretly started watching Spy Family. I
Derek.
only got 4 episodes in and decided it wasn't for me though.
Boo.
I don't know. It just felt too slow, no stakes. It just felt
How many episodes did you get in? Because they're
He said 4.
4. Oh, okay.
4 or 5.
Okay.
They had already met the wife. I guess they got married. The kid,
Anya.
yeah.
Anya is the star of the show.
Of
It's all
course.
about the facial expressions. It's all
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
memeability of her face.
I thought it was going to be I guess a different
That's the
show.
whole point of the
Like it
25
was,
episode run.
A comedy.
Yeah,
It is a
And-
comedy.
it is a comedy.
It is a comedy. I just felt like it was. I felt like the comedy wasn't the main part, which I guess in my mind I was going in as like, oh, this is supposed to be like a ha 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 show,
I mean,
just from
Nope.
like the
I mean-
absurdity of it. It's like, oh, it's a
for the most part,
spy and a
it
killer
is.
and a psychic girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I view it as
that's-
100% a comedy, but it's like let's put a comedy in divided Germany, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
East and West Germany,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they're spying on each other. like that. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah, but like the spy stuff never feels like it's too high stakes. It's all about just the hijinks.
Right. And that's really the only show I've watched, that's kind of adult oriented. If you could, I guess it is adult oriented mostly. But like I've watched stuff with the kids. We watched all of Redwall. There was an old series from the late 90s, early 2000s. It's cute and it's mostly based on the Redwall books. And
Was it good?
yeah, entertaining for a
Good
family.
enough?
Good enough. Yeah.
Okay.
My wife and I watch Agatha Christie's Poirot from like the late 80s and early 90s and watched a lot of those this year. Those were good, but by far I think Spy X Family was the one that affected us the most. It was good.
I was gonna say you don't have to say the X. It's a silent X, just Spy Family.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, but in Hunter x Hunter, you say
no, you don't. It's just
you
Hunter
don't,
Hunter.
You just Hunter Hunter.
Yeah, it's just Hunter Hunter.
Okay.
I mean,
The weeb has put us in our
Google it and
place.
let me know.
That's fine. He knows what he's talking about.
I mean,
Randy's
I'm like,
spoken.
We
You
defer
will
to the
respect it.
expert, Randy.
I put. Do you say and it said the X and Spy Family? No, you do not pronounce the X and Spy Family.
It's silent.
A silent
Okay.
X.
For emphasis, that is not meant to
Okay.
be spoken. I don't know. It's a Japanese thing. They do it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Yeah, that's not an X. It's like Zeal or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah,
Those monsters are called Zeal weapons.
yeah, it's not Zexal.
Well, then why do they spell it out like a word?
It's a thing that they do. They put a big X. It looks cool. I don't know, but
The
they
rule
do
of
Hunter
cool.
Hunter,
The
Spy
rule of cool
Family.
letters.
So
X's, Z's, and Q's and J's.
cool.
Yeah, that's right. Which Yu-Gi-Oh decided we're gonna do it. We're gonna have XE's monsters.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention that last weekend I watched 18 episodes of Berserk.
Yeah, we did.
It was really good.
Yeah, we did.
It was really awesome.
So
Haven't
good.
finished it yet, but am going to very soon. Kristen and I spent this year watching The Walking Dead, and
That's a show I want to. I was super into it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've got so much content. I was like, man, if I'm ever bored, I could start that. But it's like 30 episodes a season, and half of them are not good. It's just filler episodes. I'm like, oh god, is there a way to like streamline what the content we're getting with that show?
We just watched, I think, 9 seasons. It was either 8 or 9, the finish of the Negan arc. And loved it all the way through. We got onto Walking Dead because we were talking about shows with great pilots.
Yeah.
And I told Kristen, like, I don't watch shows where people say, wait till season 2 and it gets good.
Yeah.
No, I don't
It's
have
too
the
long.
time in my life to waste on a bad season.
Yeah.
I need a show to be good from episode 1. Episode 1, it has got to grip me. So Battlestar Galactica and The Walking Dead has one of the best pilots I'd ever seen. And I was telling Kristen about this, and I said, I want you to just watch this pilot with no expectation of you having to watch the entire show. That is not something that you need to do. I just want you to appreciate this 46 minutes for what it is. And then sure enough, we had to watch 9 seasons after it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a good pilot does, man.
Yeah.
A really good pilot will have you suffer through 3 bad seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're that locked in.
I mean, I was joking about it with Lost, but Lost had a great pilot too. It's one of the quintessentially great pilots.
All of Lost's first season
Yeah.
is just an absolute stunner. I was taking a screenwriting class in college when I watched the first season of Lost. I was taking notes every single time I was watching that show over the techniques they were using to introduce new characters and just all that stuff. Yeah, It's a great show.
I mean,
and
the
then
pilot
you
couldn't
suffer
have been that
through
good.
4 bad seasons
Also,
after seasons 1 and 2.
I rewatched that. I rewatched all of Lost this year,
Yeah.
and without having to like wait for the episodes to pop up every week, and just watching them all quick and tight. I loved it. I had a great time. It was fun. I don't know. Just a rewatch of it might make you feel better about it.
I've only ever watched Lost when all of it was available. I
Okay.
didn't start watching Lost until all of it was on Netflix.
But you haven't seen it since you've watched it once, or you've watched it once.
I've watched it twice.
Oh, okay.
I've watched
Still
all
soft
of
on
Lost
it?
twice now. I think seasons 3, 4, and 5 are really tough to get through.
Fair
But
enough.
then it kind of comes back at 6
Mm-hmm.
and gets fun for a little while until the finale. But seasons 1 and 2 are awesome.
Yeah.
Like, way awesome.
Yeah.
Randy, tell us about a show you watched this year?
I was gonna say For All Mankind on
Ooh.
Apple TV. I binged that. What, 4 seasons currently, or 5 right now? I don't remember.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, I binged all those in like a few months earlier this year, and man, that is a just solid good show.
Yeah, I tried it just on a whim. I was like, let's just see, and I was hooked immediately. The show takes place in Houston or whatever. I mean, it's 15-20 minutes away from where I live, and that was exciting for me. It's centered around NASA, and I live near NASA. I just love the space, the what if scenario.
Yeah.
Just
I
seeing.
think I watched 3 or 4 episodes of it and couldn't get in, but maybe
Yeah,
that's
fair
another show
enough.
I need to try again. Because the same thing happened to me with Code Geass. Is I watched the first time I tried to watch it, I could not get into it whatsoever. The second time I watched it, it made its way into my top 3 anime. So
It's so good.
I don't know what to. I have no rhyme or reason for that.
Hey, sometimes it's just where you are mentally.
Yeah.
For All Mankind was just so good. Good story, good effects. They did a really good job of like capturing each season is basically like a new decade.
Yeah, it's like each decade since I guess the moon landing.
Yeah, and they just do a really good job of like capturing the aesthetic of, well, what if it by like the 1980s we had flat screens, but we're still using ugly 1980s plastic, So it's that like grayish yellow
Yeah.
plastic, but
Yeah.
but this is an LCD flat screen, something that we shouldn't have another 20 years.
The plot of the show is basically what if the Cold War expanded to space and the Soviets got to the moon first. That's the whole show.
Yeah, we're in 2010s and the Cold War is still going.
Yeah, it's like one little, well, it's not a little, landing a person on the moon is no small feat, but just changing one little thing has given such a alternate twist on history for this show. It's so exciting.
And nothing feels like it's jumping the shark. It feels like
a natural building of
like
what
it feels
we did last
realistic,
season.
like it could happen.
Yeah.
So that's definitely probably one of my favorite of the year. The latest season of Demon Slayer was so good. Has anyone else seen it? Is anyone else caught up?
I'm gonna add in a cricket sound effect here.
Dang. Dang. It ends on a cliffhanger too, but they're like, all right, now it's time for 3 movies. And I was like, oh.
I have seen like 3 or 4 seasons of Demon Slayer.
Okay.
So I do need to watch the end of it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I won't spoil anything, but that one was a very good one. The last anime one I have that I want to say that I liked, it was more of a romance, but it's called A Sign of Affection, and I thought it was really good. It is a slice of life story between like a deaf girl and a guy that is like almost obsessed with learning languages. So he knows like a bunch of Spanish and English and Japanese and Russian and French and all these, but then and he travels around a bunch, but then he meets her and it's like, well, she can't communicate at all in the way that he's familiar with. I don't know. So like he has interest in her because of like this communication thing. It's kind of sweet.
That sounds sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice.
Derek, break it down with this dishonorable mention.
While Randy and Travis were in Japan, House of the Dragon Season 2 was happening, and me, my wife Kristen, and Travis's Kristen were watching it once a week. It was the most boring season of a show I think I've ever watched, and I can't believe I made it all the way to the end. We kept saying like, oh, maybe next episode will be better. Maybe next episode will have content. Oh, they must be doing some kind of big battle towards the finale. Nothing happened.
Nothing.
You could cut
Nothing.
the end of season 1 and the start of season 3, and nothing will have changed except for like 1 or 2 characters dying. And you could just say, whatever.
Truly, I came back and watched the 4 episodes that I had missed, and I was like, this is so
I would be
worthless.
embarrassed to put my name on this. Like, that came out... the budget they
good
had,
acting, no good writing. There were no redeeming qualities.
Embarrassing. Why make it if that's what you're going to make?
Damn.
Yeah.
God.
Well, it's almost like it feels like in an anime, those filler episodes where you're like, so in anime, there's this like, whenever, or in hand-drawn anime at the least, is you're paying your artists by literally the number of drawings they have to do.
Yeah.
Throughout a thing. So if one episode has 10,000 drawing, then that means they don't have the budget for 3 or 4 episodes to have 10,000 drawings. So they'll have the artists create other episodes with much fewer drawings. There's no action. It's a bunch of talking. It's a bunch of reminiscing. It's a bunch of remembering something that happened earlier in the season. So, but usually when those episodes come up, if you like know anime, you're watching it and you're like, oh, that means something so good is coming. That means something good is coming. If it's an episode with only memories and dialogue, you're like, ooh, the combat is coming. We're going to get so many drawings. And then in live action, I'm sorry, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about dragons, so obviously like CGI or whatever. But still, there was no payoff for 12 weeks worth of waiting.
Yeah.
It felt awful. So I'm
like,
with you there.
I knew it was bad when even on social media you get on the next morning after an episode and there was like maybe 1 or 2 memes or videos and that's it. Like people just didn't have anything to say. No one cared. I doubt people are going to tune in for a 3rd season after the boring display that was. So yeah.
It was not difficult in Japan to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Because no one was talking about it.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
I totally agree.
I don't know if it's my favorite show of this year. It's a pretty big title, but I've been obsessed with Arcane since season 2 came out.
Kristen wants to rewatch season 1 first. So
yeah.
I have to wait for her to have the free time to do that before I can watch Arcane season 2.
Yeah. So I rewatched season 1, then watched season 2 on my own. And then I convinced Kristen to watch it with me because I've been obsessed with it ever since season 2. And the song The Line by 21 Pilots came out. And the moment it plays in that, it's just been living in my head rent-free.
Cool.
Ever since. So we're slowly working it through. I think we're episode 5 of season 1 now.
Okay. Awesome.
And she's liking it, but she knows she's in for some kind of heartache. So I can't wait.
Yeah, man, season 1 was so good.
Yeah. Season 2 was even better in my opinion, but it goes off the rails.
I gotta catch up.
Yeah. In slightly less exciting news, I watched Fallout. That was good. It's a pretty good video game adaptation show.
If I never played Fallout, is it worth watching?
Yeah, I don't think
would it still be a good show even if I never played the video game?
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like For All Mankind, like an alternate history. The atomic bombs have gone off, civilization's restarting, but you have a lot of like really high tech, retro looking.
Interesting. Okay.
Equipment and armor and all that stuff, and things are just different. But it's got some comedy. It's got some whatever going on. You don't have to know anything to go into it.
It's got Walter Goggins. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, Walter Goggins,
best actor.
Ella Purnell, I think is her name. Who she's also the voice of Jinx from Arcane, so she was a big year for her.
That's cool.
I also watched the season 4 of The Boys. That would have been my favorite, and then Arcane and stuff came out.
Yeah, I suppose that was an early year finisher.
Yeah.
An early year release.
Yeah, that was good. I really like the finale on that one. It's getting a little too lifelike for me, but I guess that is what it is. Then the last thing I watched of 2024 was Pantheon, which is an animated show. It's currently on Netflix or Prime or something, I'm not sure. But that's a show about people uploading their minds into the cloud for whatever. I keep this is like the 3rd or 4th time these guys have to hear this spiel. But it's animated and it's a lot of fun. It's just a fun little thought twist for me, just thinking about a world that what that looks like kind of thing.
Yeah. It sounds awesome. Whenever you describe it, I can only think of the Friends episode where Ross is desperately trying to flirt. And he goes, one day we can upload our memories into computers. And then finally another girl goes, and live forever as a machine. And he goes, yes, exactly. Like that's how.
I mean, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go read a Warhammer 40k and ask the Necrons how that turns out.
All right.
How they like that.
Benjamin, tell us about the books you read. All the Derek and Randy both had book reading New Year's resolutions, and neither of them.
I didn't have any book reading. I haven't read a book in years. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, Randy did.
Take it away, Benjamin.
Well, for me, that was like the one goal that I really, really laid into. And
well, you hammered it out by March, right?
Yeah. I was just reading constantly, listening to audiobooks and everything, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But my goal, because I was like Derek, I hadn't read a book in a long time, and I was feeling pretty bad about it. I was reading like maybe one book a year just because I was tired and busy and all this stuff. And I said, no, I'm gonna read one every other month at least. And then I just when we made the goal, I said I'm gonna do it. So I quickly read The Last Ronin, which I had bought at a convention a long time ago just to have, and I said, you know what, I should actually read it.
Is The Last Ronin like the same story that the Keanu Reeves movie?
No,
Was that just Ronin?
no.
It's a Ninja Turtle story.
Yeah, The Last Ronin is Ninja Turtles.
Where 3 of the turtles have died, and there's 1 turtle left trying to avenge their deaths.
Yes, and they've come out recently. They started The Last Ronin 2, which you're like,
The second to last Ronin.
You've missed the point of The Last Ronin. But it's supposedly a continuation of that story, where so it's more just like more stories in the Last Ronin universe. But it's The Last Ronin 2.
Are we talking about a graphic novel
Yes,
here, or
yes,
is this an actual book?
no.
Okay.
Wait, not an actual book?
Well, I mean, a book with words, or is it a good book?
It's a pop-up picture book, Derek.
I'm illiterate, guys.
You'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, it didn't take me long.
Hey, I mean,
flew
a
through
Ninja Turtle
but
pop-up book of The Last Ronin?
that would be awesome. And they are talking about making a movie out of it.
Yeah.
And it actually got me into comic books a little bit. I've bought a bunch of comic books, and I don't count those like the individual issues as books, but I've read several other comic books all of a sudden, and including the last one. They finished actually a Ninja Turtle run, so I bought a volume 150, and now they've just rebooted the Ninja Turtles one, and they're like 4 issues in. But that started with The Last Ronin, and I was like, this is awesome, and I went and bought it. Also, I read.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Last Ronin a lot.
Yeah. I did the complete manga of Steins Gate. Just a really fat, because I had watched it last year. That was the one adult oriented thing that I watched with Sarah for the year, just like this year with Spy Family. And so I said, okay.
Yet another show that I don't think Kristen would want to watch.
What, Steins Gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's time travel,
yeah. But it's worth. Oh, it was so good.
It was so good.
good.
Randy and I
She's the most mathematically smart of all of us. Why is she so hung up on it?
She's like, I do this all day at work. I don't want to think about logical, mathematical equations when I'm home. Probably that's probably what it is.
Guys, it is not even that. When Kristen's at work, she has a computer program that plugs in all the math for her. She does. She went to school for 5 years to go to work and have a program that did all the math for her.
Right.
Hey, if it's that simple.
Yeah.
Hey, but worth it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
AI is going to do all our work for us. The trick is to hide the AI and make it look like you're doing all the work.
AI does it. You just sign your name.
Exactly. Also,
human oversight.
We were talking about Dune. I read
Quality
Dune Messiah, which is Dune 2, and I liked it better than the first one. Now it depends which part of Dune you like. I'm not going to say everyone's going to like it better than the first one, but
it's more like an epilogue, right? For people who missed the point of the first book.
Yeah,
miss the point.
Kinda. I mean, but it's more political and less of the action stuff. So what happens after the jihad? Because he just became emperor of the what is it, universe, galaxy, whatever. Okay, well then what?
Benjamin, I'm gonna need a pop-up book of Dune.
I'm sure that exists.
The sandworm. Shahulud.
What'd you say? I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists.
Randy, our resident looker-upper in the middle of episodes. Pop-up Dune.
Pop-up Dune, yeah.
Pop-up Dune for kids.
I did read some nonfiction. I'm not the biggest fan of nonfiction. I understand why it exists, but Never Split the Difference was actually pretty good. It's like a how to negotiate book written by a hostage negotiator, and he went from being a hostage negotiator to doing business deals.
Okay.
And some interesting psychological stuff and things that you think like that shouldn't work, but it does, because our brains don't always think rationally.
Maybe you.
Right.
How bizarre.
It wouldn't work on Derek. That's right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work on Derek.
Immune, of course.
Of course.
And then probably the most mind-bending book that I read was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. It's like a young adult.
Yeah, that's the one about Death Reapers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kristen was teaching that for her students.
She taught it.
Yeah. They loved it.
Yeah.
It was one of their favorites every year.
Yeah, I had
I
a
was
student.
always walking past like hallway projects based on Scythe.
Yeah,
Whenever I was a teacher.
I had a student recommend it to me. He was obsessed. He was reading in the middle of my lessons. I was like, "Stop it!" And he wouldn't stop. So he's like, "You got to read this, Mr. C." Like, okay. So I checked it out of the school library and read it. Then I bought it, and now I'm reading the Thunderhead, and I have a signed copy of the Thunderhead. I guess it's just Thunderhead, not the Thunderhead. So I'm in the middle of that. So I've already got a head start on this year's goal.
Very cool.
Man, it was amazing. And
I found a copy of Scythe at a thrift store when Kristen and I were on our anniversary vacation.
yeah,
$2.
and you bought it?
Yeah.
Good.
I haven't read it.
Do it.
But that's per usual for me. I buy books,
Right.
put them on a shelf, and don't read them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's me with books and games, but
Book hoarding.
this year is about culling the books and the games. But Scythe, I highly recommend. It's an easy read. It's for teenagers, but deals with some high level concepts, and I could see, anyways, it's excellent. Go read it.
How old does Margaret have to be before you let her read it?
Well, she's 10 now, so maybe 13. It's not.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's about. I mean, it's very gruesome, and
Yeah.
they describe a bunch of ways to kill people, and
That's fun.
there's some
Neat.
interesting romance stuff in there. But I mean, it's mainly about death. So I don't know. I'm into that sort of thing. Black is my color, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'll probably read it this year at some point.
While we're in the book category, if I can brag on my wife real quick.
Yes, please.
She set
Yeah,
a
oh my
goal to
gosh.
read 40 books last year, finished it.
Wow.
She's a machine. She read 12 books in the last 2 weeks of December.
Well, yeah, she was off.
Well, yeah, but she had to catch up, and man, it was like Indiana Jones sliding under the door. New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
finishing the last book, closing it, and finishing her goal. Woo! What a machine!
That is crazy. She was showing us at our New Year's Eve party the journal that she made, where she has like reviews and pictures of each book cover of all the books she read that year.
I think this is it right here.
Stuck on
This
your
is the-
blanket, Derek?
I was stuck on my blanket. I was cold earlier, now I'm hot.
That's what she said.
So she's done this,
I need to do that.
decorated each
So
month.
decorated each month,
Little
and
stuff.
then put the book covers and
Yeah.
the ratings. God, that's so cool.
That is cool.
What a cool keepsake to like have, and to have one every year.
Yeah, she's already got
She already picked out a journal for 25.
this is her 2025 book.
Nice. We started doing that with our kids. We found reading like a Mensa reading lists for different age ranges, and part of what they have to do, they have to read like all these books on this list and then rate them. And I said, in addition to that, you have to report back to me so I know if I need to go back and read them.
Awesome.
So yeah. And Ezra's one is really interesting because he's in first grade, and the age range is from kindergarten K through 3, and that's a huge reading level difference, K through 3. So there's like Goodnight Moon, and
Yeah, because K is like C Spot Run,
right,
and 3 is like
Animorphs,
chapter books.
Yeah.
Like
So
Return of the King stuff.
that's awesome.
I think that is on the high school one, all the Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, so we're as a family going to read like 25 books this year, so we're getting into it.
Nice.
And my Kristen managed to do her 12 books.
Good.
Her and her book club did a book a month. So good for them. Good for all you readers out there.
Keep the flame alive, guys.
Yeah, and if I might
Let her see it.
offer a brief word of wisdom here, look,
I don't
listener.
think you should. I think you should just keep it to yourself.
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
just kidding. Please
No,
give it
go
to
ahead.
Oh,
us.
Go
you're
ahead.
right. The
No, I'm sorry.
foolish man
Give us a
scoffs at
soundbite.
wisdom. Okay. So, listener, if you're here, it's because hopefully you find our podcast interesting. Hopefully, you're not just here to heckle us, but it's because
Hey, we take any kind of engagement.
it's because you've seen us create interesting content and offer wise words on how to be friends, how to play games, strategy, all this stuff. But what you've just heard us review, as far as things that we've consumed over the last year, things that we've engaged in, things that we've done with our friends, that sort of input is what allows for good output, right? It allows you to connect with the people around you, with the world at large, to engage with your friends, to like community building isn't about finding one thing to do together. It's about finding lots of things to do together. And so obviously next week we'll be talking about our goals for the year and things we want to do as a group. But it's good to look back and say, what did I do over this last year to make myself more interesting? And that you should always be trying to improve yourself.
Did y'all see Randy?
No.
He went,
Hey, y'all went to Japan. Yeah, that made you a lot more interesting.
yeah.
That
That
is
was a
true.
bucket list for you. So start acting like it.
I can die happy now.
So be different.
Get rid of depression.
Appreciate nature.
Yeah, okay, obviously we talked a lot about media. It doesn't have to be media. Go fishing.
Yeah.
Whatever. But maybe don't go fishing.
Yeah, Benjamin, I used to say the same thing as a teacher, just about reading in general. I was an English teacher, and I was always telling people every single thing you consume gives you a possible thread to connect with somebody else. And the first conversation I ever had with my wife was about Twilight, was about the Twilight books.
Okay.
So, yeah, for real. So now the only reason I read in high school and college was to woo women. That was the only reason. But it worked. I got a 3-year-old now.
I was like, technically, Twilight got you laid.
Bing. Okay, so we've done our 2024 wrapped of most of our media, but if you're a Magic fan and you're still here, this is what is going to get your goat. We narrowed down some of our favorite legendary creatures that were released in 2024. Now, I pulled up the list of all the sets that were released. There were 243 legendary creatures released last year. That's too many.
Yeah.
That's too many.
It's a lot of clams.
Yeah, there's so many legendary creatures, possible decks to make. The sheer number of sets that I had to pull up of product, I think it was like 7 or 8 sets worth of product. So wild. But we picked out some cool legendary creatures. Benjamin, start us off.
We just did a deck tech on this. Travis is going to put it in one of these corners. I don't know which one. But
It'll
Voja.
be-
This one. No, if you're taking that one, I'll pick this one.
Probably this one.
Think is my shirt forwards or backwards?
Forward.
For us, it's 4.
It's
Yours is
backwards.
normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
This way.
All right.
It'll be in
Voja,
that
Jaws of the Conclave. Just, go look at the deck tech to see what I'm excited about with that deck. But excellent commander. Fun. Go wide, go tall. Draw cards. To Timmy's dream.
Yeah, this was last week's video. Voja is wild. It was a lot of fun talking about how Voja is going to get revenge for Tulsamir's death and the myriad ways he's going to do so. It was really neat. Derek, how about you?
I put 2 on here. Both of them are frogs. Galarb, Calamity's Augur, and Helga, Skittish Seer.
Are they both from Bloomborough?
They're both from Bloomborough.
Yeah.
Galarb is a Sultai frog who cares about things having CMC 4 greater that you can play from the top of your library. I don't remember how it works. And then Helga is a green, white, blue Bant frog who cares about CMC 4, lets you draw cards, puts counters on. She reminds me a lot of Henzi, but in green, white, blue instead of green, red, black. So I'm like,
Okay.
well, let's see how it looks this way.
Yeah.
So I'd like to build both of those guys.
Very cool.
Yeah, I didn't know we could do
Both-
2.
Yeah, I put 2 on the list also.
They're wacky little guys.
Yep. Well then,
Yeah, Benjamin, do you have a second?
yes, the Great Cruel Claw. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Claw,
Sorry,
what-
the infamous Cruel Claw is what it
The
is.
He's
Infamous
a little weasel.
Y'all are. That's the next deck I'm building. Y'all are put it on there.
He's the one, when you deal combat damage, you exile cards from the top of your library, and then you can cast that card by discarding a different card and not pay its mana cost. Wow.
So whenever he
That's
deals
pretty
combat
good.
damage, you get a free card from your library. It's coming.
You get to cast a free card.
Yes.
From the top of your library. Ooh, that's scary. Both of mine are from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I guess I like cowboy hats now. I don't know.
I like cute little critters.
I
Is
have
it
been
good?
listening to a ton of old country music, so maybe this makes sense. I like Fibblethip Lost on the Range. His ability is that you can look at the top card of your deck, and that you can plot things from the top of your deck. Plotting just means you set it to the side face up, and then you can cast it on a later turn for free. Does it have to be at sorcery speed?
I think so.
Because I was thinking of a deck where you just plot a ton of counterspells.
And everybody can see them.
Oh, so they just know it's there.
So
Oh,
everybody just sees them all face up.
so
they have
mean.
So they have to decide how, am I going to try to bait one out? And
Yeah.
I think that'd be really funny. If not, then I'll have to think of something else. So I think Fibblethip is hilarious. And I also like Massacre Girl Known Killer. She says something like, I think it's that all your creatures have Wither. And then when a creature dies, it had toughness 0. You do something. I think it's draw a card. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mono black. She's a 4/4 with menace. I like it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool black cards that are all about reducing toughness.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think she'd be really cool. She and Kervek the Spiteful. They just say all creatures get -1/-1.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to stack a deck with those effects so that people just can't play something, or they play something, but then their toughness is already so low that a single wither hit just knocks stuff out. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be a really fun deck to build.
I'm sticking her in my anti-token deck.
Yeah, sticking her in
Griswold.
Griswold, yeah.
And Randy, what legendary creature did you find this year? Did you fall in love with?
Well, Derek, he had a thing with little critters, and you like cowboys. I like horror movies, so the Mind Skinner from Duskmorn is the deck I built. The inverse color deck that I built for Benjamin.
Yep.
And
I'll put that deck list or that video link right here. Derek, no.
There we go. We got all the bases covered.
There you go.
I just thought it was really cool. The art for it was pretty neat. It was a deck type that I had wanted to build before with just a mill deck, but it was just like, I can mill everyone fast.
Yeah.
And this was a perfect challenge for it because I don't think I could have done it as well in blue. But Benjamin, if you built a mono blue one, I would love to see
It's coming.
how it turns out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our legendary creatures for the year of 2024. Benjamin's already made Voja. I've got Fibblethip and Master Girl working around in my head, just kind of marinating for now because I haven't done.
I got Glarb and Helga.
Well, Glarb and Helga are just marinating because they're frogs and your mind is a pond.
Yeah.
Little slimy up here.
Dank swamp in your head.
So thank you guys so much for listening to our 2024 Wrapped. We are excited for another new year always. Next week, we're going to be talking about our 2025 resolutions, and we're going to come back and check on how we did on our 2024 resolutions.
Ooh.
It's a bit dicey. Y'all.
For them.
Now, that's true.
I was a good boy this year.
It's a bit dicey for some of us.
Yeah.
But just about all of us met some and then had some mixed results with the others. So that'll be fun to talk about some new goals. Thank you guys so much for listening. Randy, how can people email us directly with questions, comments, or possible news from the Warfront posts?
Let's see if I can get it right. MyMythicalMeta@gmail.com.
MyMythicalMeta@gmail.com.
One
Thank
day.
you. Benjamin, how can people find our Patreon?
www.patreon.com/MyMythicalMeta.
Thank you guys so much for listening. And Benjamin, Derek, Randy, thank you guys for being my great friends. Adios.
Later.
Goodbye.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.